We're cruising in the Mona Links. I'm going to show you guys how to warm up if you only had 30 minutes before your first tee time. Let's go shoot 65. Alright, firstly you need a glove. I always get an alignment stick when I'm warming up and some form of wedge, be it a lob wedge or sand wedge. Put the alignment stick perpendicular to the parallel lines that we're trying to aim at. Always making sure we're calibrated pre-round. If you're rushed for time, this is really, really important. Calibration's the difference between amateur golfers and professional golfers. We calibrate alignment and ball position, everything day in and day out. So as far as we're concerned here, I'm gonna align myself to the bunker on the right hand side and I'm just gonna go through some shots. I tend to group up my balls in fives. Something you guys can do yourselves. So we got 5 there. As I warm up, I go through the bag. We're just taking it easy. Really, really important. The first 5, if I haven't hit the gym and done some stretching, I'm just getting a feel for where the club is. I see time and time again, people come in wanting to belt 7-irons or drivers. If they at all get the time to go to the range, whereas I find I hit little chip shots, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 meters, and I build up as we go. Really, really important, even as a professional golfer, to get a feel for where the club head is for the day. If I start out by swinging too fast and furious, shout out to Vin Diesel. Fast and furious, mate, I'm no comedian. So basically, we are just warming up. And as you will see, as I get through that 5, my first 5, just a little nice chip shots, I then move on to something a little bit more solid. So the next 5, I'll then go into 3/4 shot, hit those 5. Now I'm warmed up enough with the wedge, I'll do that throughout the bag. Some days I use odd clubs, some days even. Today, it's odds. So next up, 9-iron. Now, I always finish with 3 wedge shots. Lob wedge, sand wedge, whatever you feel like. I just always finish with 3 after the driver, just to make sure I got a bit of feel back in my hands. Generally, I'll come to the putting green first. I'll always do this calibration before I head to the range. But today, seeing as we've only got 25 minutes, we're going range first and then putting. To calibrate and make sure everything's working correctly, as a professional golfer, I use a string line and a mirror. Today, I'm just gonna show you the string line. So basically, I find a straight putt, or relatively straight. As you can see there, that breaks a little bit to the right. Shuffle around until you find one that's pretty straight. It's pretty easy to find. You can see within 3 putts, you just find the lowest point working back to the hole. Now, I'll use a string line again. You can make these yourself or buy them from your nearest golf store. Basically what this does is make sure that your putter is working in the correct fashion on the arc. Your eyes are over the ball correctly. And something I do a lot is making sure that my start line is in the correct position. So I'll start with a really short one generally to get everything working correctly. I will stand behind, make sure I'm in the correct position. Today it's pretty windy, so I'm gonna have to stamp that down a little bit. So something I do on a regular basis is I'll put tees on the outside of my putter head, tee either side of the club head. You've probably seen Tiger doing this. First thing I do as I get to the course or the putting green, I'll calibrate myself, making sure my eyes are visually over this line and my putter is working on the correct arc. Now, as I progress, I'll grab 2 more tees I'll put a golf ball about a foot away, should be in a direct line of where my ball's going. Now, I'll then put tees either side of that ball to represent my start line. If I hit a good putt, this ball should track through the green line, through the gates and into the hole. If I pull or push my putt, I will know pretty much instantly because it'll hit one of those tees. So you can see there, I blocked that one, which is not necessarily a tendency of mine. That's better. Something you can do as amateur golfers just to get yourself calibrated for your round. Take 5 minutes. I literally hit 10, 15 putts. It's not like I'm here forever. I'll hit 10 or 15, just get a feel for where the putt is flowing on the day, working through the track. And then once I've done that, I'll progress to doing a little bit more of a, I suppose, competitive short putts. So I'll grab those tees that I previously used. I'll put one at a putter length on the left side of the hole. I'll put one down the middle, which I can just keep this here like before, and then I'll put one putter length from the hole on the right side. So I'm covering kind of all bases on the arc. I then try to go from one to the other, going through routine as I would on the golf course. So making sure I line my ball up because I lined it on the golf course, going through my routine fully, committing to the putt, imagining I'm out on the golf course. So I've got one, again, full routine. This line's a little bit intrusive, but it's good to have that line there still as a bit of feedback. Two. And then three. That then gives me a bit of confidence knowing I can hold them under pressure. I then move on to some long putts. I generally will grab the same 3 tees. It's always good to have tees in your pocket. I will then step out 5 paces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a tee there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one about middle of that. I'll then get my feel for the greens, so you're understanding how far the ball's going, etc. Another thing I do is I'll put a couple of tees as a bit of a ladder about a foot or 18 inches past the hole. So I'm trying to get this ball, each one, and you imagine you're going up and down the ladder. I'm going from one point to the next. I will then go back down the ladder and up the ladder. I'll do this probably 5 times. That'll then give me the feel for the greens and the speed on the day. Biggest part of professional golf is being able to putt on different greens basically every week. The speeds are different, maybe not on the PGA Tour, but the speeds are different, and you'll probably find if you're future golfers or not necessarily members of a club and you play different ones, then speed is really, really important to gauge early on in your warm-up. You can see all 3 of those are a little bit short. The greens are a little bit slower than anticipated. I then will work my way back down. We then move on to chipping. Pretty lucky in this environment that we have a pitching area. I generally take 3 balls with me, and again, we've only got this 25-minute warm-up, but I'll go from pin to pin with 1 or 2 balls. So you can see my first shot here to the right pin, and then I get a gauge for distance and how the greens are reacting. Really, really important, especially if you're going to a new course and if they have a chipping green or pitching area. If you're able to hit that 40, 50 meter pitch, then you can understand basically how the greens are reacting on any given day. I can tell now that the greens today are a little bit soft. You can see how that lands and then just stops nicely on that one first check. Now, same thing applies. I'll go to the left pin now as my third shot. This is a really, really tough shot actually. I might have to open the face and hit it slightly differently. I've overdone that. Whoop. But then that gives me a good understanding of how the greens are reacting on the day. I'll then hit 3 balls from 3 different spots, trying to get the ball as close as I can if possible, and then getting a feel or an understanding of what I'm working with on the day. If you ever have 30 minutes to warm up, instead of mindlessly hitting balls on the range, try to incorporate some of the things I did today, warming your way through the bag, putting, calibrating yourself. Hopefully this helps you on your next round. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment if there's anything you'd like to know or videos you'd like me to produce in the future.